Final Seconds podcast, hey. We're back. Well, just me anyways today. Unfortunately, we did do some filming earlier, with the other guys, but we couldn't get it done. Just me, Josh, Kinslow. We couldn't get it done because we were on a bit of a time crunch, and we really didn't just get consistent to anything, so, it's just me today, this week. Today, we faced a lot of adversity, so we're just gonna get past it. So today we're gonna look at all the week 2 games, what our reactions were, or my reactions, what my reactions were from that game. We're just gonna look at the big games, some surprises from last week, and then we'll take a look at that Thursday night game that I totally forgot to cover. But that Thursday night game between Patriots and Jets, and then take a look at tomorrow's previews, stardom situms, and then we're gonna talk about something probably on everybody's mind. What's going on with Caleb Williams and Bryce Young? Up next. So first things first, let's talk about it. Bengals versus Chiefs. Now, listen, I'm not going to be biased. I'm a big Chiefs fan, but I'm not going to lie. That last call at the end of the game was a complete pass interference. The guy was there that had hit him before the ball was even close to him, and it did affect the catch. And everybody that I've seen online, people are going to say, oh, Chiefs, the Chiefs always get bailed out by the refs, and, Mahomes has this many interceptions that have been bailed out by the refs. Whatever, dude. But last night's, as of what happened that night, or that evening, technically, whatever happened that evening was completely legal. The dude had hit him far before the ball was even there, which ultimately affected the pass, okay? And any ESPN analyst would agree with me, okay? And any logical human being that doesn't hate on the Chiefs and actually takes every perspective into consideration would tell you that that was completely illegal. That was a PI waiting to happen. And, that helped us beat Burrow and Jamar Chase. And I also found it really funny that Jamar Chase was talking so much crap that they were the team to beat in the AFC, and that they were that. I don't know if you guys saw it, but the dude literally crashed out on the refs, which gave us a personal foul penalty, which went our way, because he was having unsportsmanlike conduct. He was yelling at the refs, and then though we're the team to beat in the AFC, you are 0-2. You were 0-1 at the time. How are you going to be the team to beat in the AFC if you're 0-1, Chiefs have more wins than you to begin with, and now still have more wins than you? Like, dude, I love how Jamar Chase talks so much crap and then just doesn't go his way. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to give out flowers whenever, when they have to be ditched. I think it was Taylor Britt, the DB for Cincinnati. That OBJ interception, dude. That was crazy. I mean, he threw that ball, and I was like, that's, first of all, not even a good read. I mean, Britt was all over Xavier Worthy, and I really feel like as a rookie and somebody who's kind of undersized, I really didn't think he was going to make that, he was going to catch that pass anyways. So I still thought that was a terrible read. But, dude, the way he just goes up and catches that out of mid-air with one hand, with, that OBJ, catch, dude, I thought that was amazing. Now, when I was watching the game, I didn't think it was amazing. I kind of went dead silent, and I almost crashed out. But, we still won the game. That's all that matters. As for the next game, we talked about this last week, Texans versus Bears. 19-13. We'll be talking about more of the Caleb Williams stuff soon. But 7 sacks, man. I mean, Caleb got sacked 7 times. That offensive line should be charged for freaking war crimes. I mean, that should be considered an atrocity of what happened to Caleb. And I'm surprised the dude wasn't injured. I mean, I understand, when I was talking to a lot of people about this, they were saying, Caleb Williams sucks, he can't read the ball. But that is a total lie. The dude has the talent. He showed it in USC. He has the arm, he has the talent, he will make those reads. And he also showed it in preseason. Now, you're probably going to say, yeah, that was preseason, he's playing third, fourth stringers. But we could see that he was making that progress. But at the same time, how is he supposed to make a play when he's being literally murdered? Like he's being chased by 300-pound guys. And Will Anderson was all over that. Him and Daniel Hunter were all over that. And the fact of the matter was, he was just not getting out of there alive. He just wasn't. That just wasn't going to happen. So, I mean, 7 sacks. I can see why he had 2 interceptions. Because he was just trying to get the ball out. I mean, you can have Randy Moss, Calvin Johnson, Travis Kelce, and Jerry Rice as your wide receivers. But if you have that Bears crappy offensive line that's letting people just bull rush you without the offensive line just saying, after you, sir, like, you're not going to be able to throw it to any of those guys. You're not going to be able to get the ball off in time. So when I hear things about Caleb Williams sucking, quick water break. About Caleb Williams sucking, he sucked because his line almost got him killed. Like, what else can a guy do? He tried to scramble out the pocket. There was a dude there because they couldn't give him any room to run out the pocket. He tried the other side, had no room. Like, it was a lose-lose situation. Now, the positive side of this whole predicament for Bears fans, even though on the offensive side there isn't, that defense is promising. And that defense is likely to be an up-and-coming dominant force. I mean, considering the amount of turnovers that team had, 2 interceptions and then 7 sacks, I'm like 4 and outs were bound to happen. I only watched half the game because I had school the next day. I mean, that was bound to happen, right? I mean, yeah, it was bound to happen. I mean, the whole passing yard ratio, they did allow 235 yards as a they had 235 passing yards as a team, Houston did. But they also held them to 75 yards rushing, which last week they went ballistic when it came to the run game. But other than that, 7 sacks, dude. Man. I feel bad for Caleb Williams. How is the dude supposed to get any better if he's on the verge of death? Literally. That just shows you how tough of a guy he really is. Because not only did he take all of those hits, but he took more potential hits that he ended up, scrambling out the pocket a few times for. But he's not injured, and he's still up. He still got up and did his thing. Still went to the next snap. And that should show you that he's a tough guy. So when I think of Caleb Williams as a QB, I don't think he sucks. I really don't think he sucks. And he's got all the weaponry. He's got Komet, Everett. The defense is great. Keenan Allen, which was out that game. DJ Moore, Odunze, DeAndre Swift. All those players, he does. And I guess we did talk about the Caleb Williams stuff now rather than later. But whatever it is, we'll get that knocked out now. He has everything he needs, but that line needs to be a main priority when it comes to development and just getting that team on the same page, because it looked like they were, it was just pure, it looked like there was a lot of miscommunication that happened on that line, that caused so many holes to come through that defense, through that offensive, through that line. It's crazy, dude. And man, I really was feeling for Caleb that game. My dad's a big Bears fan, so I was watching the game with him, and, I knew in his eyes he was just so pissed off that, he couldn't even watch the game seeing his star QB get, eaten alive by that defense. But, hopefully that changes, because that Bears offensive line did get better last year across the last maybe quarter of the season. And you would think they'd ride off that momentum, but I guess not. But I think the main guy on that team that really sucks and stands out to me on that line is Coleman Shelton. Dude, he just opens the door. He's literally a doorman to a big building. He just opens the door and he just lets people come through. Him and Nate Davis. There needs to be some solid pickups in offensive line for the Bears. Either at trades this year or in free agency next year, you know? Now, that's as of right now. Things could change. You know what I mean? So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. As for the next game, Falcons and Eagles, that was definitely out of the ordinary. I did not expect the Eagles to lose that game. That Saquon Barkley dropped pass that could have given them a first down in the red zone to get a touchdown and win, drops it, which then gave the Falcons the win. I mean, that's just unlucky, man. At that point, you just really need to work on your hands. It's the Philadelphia Eagles. They're a good enough team anyways, so I really don't think that's going to be a huge setback for the team, but that's really a win that you want, to be honest with you. But way to go for the Falcons to pull that game out. I mean, they're excuse me. They're looking dynamic. They're looking really, really good. So I'm excited. I personally want to see Penix play. Reminds me a lot like Michael Vick, left-handed, can scramble, run, whatever. I think he's got great potential, which I thought was weird why they drafted him. Because he's just going to be on the bench, like, however long Kirk is going to be there, which I don't even know how long Kirk's going to be there. That dude is old, but he signed a 4-year deal with the Falcons. So I don't know how that's going to go. Rams, Cards. Now, that was a very, 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 very big surprise in my eyes. I had the Rams blowing them out. I'm not gonna lie to you. I had them. On the you can check the last podcast. I think I had them getting blown out quite a bit, and instead it was vice versa. The Cardinals were doing the blowing out. Pause. 41-10, and Marvin Harrison having, Jesus Christ, oh my God, 4 receptions for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns, with 32.5 yards average per reception. I mean, not only was he a fantasy demigod last week, Kyler was just throwing missiles. That dude was just throwing missiles into the air, and it was just falling to receivers. I mean, there was one highlight where I saw him had the ball in his hand for probably 5-6 seconds, going around and around and finding a hole, and then throws it in the back of the end zone for the touchdown. I mean, who can do that? And that should show you how dynamic of a QB Kyler Murray is going to become. The injury, he looks like he's even better. You know, he came back stronger from that injury he had last year. And now he's got receivers to throw to. Healthy Michael Wilson, that I thought could have been a great wide receiver last year if he actually played. But we live in the now, and he still looked good too this week. He had a touchdown. He had a receiving touchdown too. And then the run game, I mean, James Conner, old reliable over here. 21 attempts for 122 yards. Having 5.8 yards a carry for a touchdown, man. 18.4% 18.4 points in fantasy football, man. Like, dude, what a game for this Cards. And this should show you that. And not only that, their defense played really well too. This defense is young. It looks promising. And I wouldn't be surprised if this team is a playoff contender in maybe even this year. They're going to be a very sneaky team, in my opinion. And I would not be surprised if they become Super Bowl contenders in 2 to 3 years' time. Next upset, Raiders-Ravens. They come out 3 points. Now, I had the Ravens winning this game. Lamar Jackson had almost 300 yards throwing, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Oh, wait, no, I'm looking at the wrong person. Gardner Minshew had 276 yards, almost 300 yards passing, with 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Did get sacked 5 times, which isn't very nice to see when your starting QB is looking at. Zamir White, I really thought he was going to be way better this year. I mean, last year's Josh Jacobs goes down, and he comes back and gives good fantasy points too, and he rushed really well, but this year it just doesn't seem like it so far. Devontae Adams, 9 receptions, 110 yards, a touchdown. And Brock Bowers, the rookie, 9 receptions out of 9 targets, 10.9 yards an average with 98 yards, no touchdowns. When push comes to shove, I picked him up on my fantasy team. For my fantasy team, I saw him on waiver wire, and I jumped immediately. That dude is the best tight end in the league right now when it comes to fantasy. And if you guys really, really need a tight end, which it looks like all the tight ends are kind of inconsistent right now, I think Brock Bowers is your way to go. And I'm pretty sure Brock Bowers plays a pretty crappy team this week, too. Yeah, they play Carolina. They play Carolina this week. Start Brock Bowers. I would not be surprised if that dude has like 125 yards receiving with 8 receptions and a touchdown. Mark my words, start Bowers. And I really hope that doesn't come back to bite me. Because you know how people are sometimes, man. They just have off games like Mark Andrews week 1. Still have PTSD from that game. I still won. I still won happily. I still won, but yeah, no. It's just not nice to see, especially considering, you know, he's supposed to be a top 5 tight end. As for that, 0-2 Ravens. Come on, man. They got to really step up their game if they're trying to beat the Chiefs for their spot. I mean, you would think that Lamar and Derrick Henry duo would be killer right about now, but I haven't really seen much of it. Next one. Let's see here. Bucks Lions. Man, I mean, I had the Lions winning that, and I feel like the Lions just really played a terrible game overall. That's okay. I mean, it's week 2. Guys are just getting their rust off the edges. You know what I mean? I really think the Lions will make a Super Bowl leap this year. I think that they will definitely be Super Bowl contenders this year. It's just week 2, and they're getting rust off the edges, and I 100% understand that. I really don't think that the Bucks, if it comes playoff time and they face off in the playoffs again, I think the Lions will come out of it with the W. Baker Mayfield, though, I'm not going to count him out, though. Dude was a dog. I mean, he only had 185 yards and a touchdown with 1 interception. But considering he had 5 sacks, he was sacked 5 times. He didn't have 5 sacks. He was sacked 5 times, and he still helped get the win? I mean, that's crazy to me, man. I mean, he was making plays, and Baker Mayfield has found his team. After being passed around like freaking, I don't even know. Just being passed around. I mean, it's great to see that the dude is finally succeeding in a good system. You know what I mean? I mean, Browns Baker Mayfield was decent, but let's be honest. If you go to the Browns, that's just a place where QBs go to die. Like, it just is. Like, let's talk about Deshaun Watson over here. I mean, the dude was a fiend in Houston, throwing almost damn near 5,000 yards a season, and then he decided to be Diddy, but with grown women, and, you know, did some stupid stuff, and now he's at the Browns sucking. It's terrible. I mean, dog shit. He's terrible. Like, he's terrible. That team is not going anywhere. As for, I feel bad for everybody on that team, especially Myles Garrett, dude. Like, dude's a phenomenal player that would get so much freaking money elsewhere, but he decides to stay in Cleveland, out of all places, dude. You're not winning a ring there. I mean, the dude is going to be a Hall of Famer regardless, but wouldn't you want the cherry on top saying that I have X amount of Super Bowl rings? Like, you know what I mean? Kansas City Chiefs, if you're watching this, get Myles Garrett. Because if he wants a ring, I mean, we could give it to him, right? I mean, we've given it, we've gotten repeat, and we've won 3 rings in the last, 5 years? I mean, Myles Garrett, come to Kansas City, man. This is not tampering, by the way. Well, would it be tampering now? Would it, technically? No. It's not off-season. I don't think it would be tampering. But even then, this isn't considered tampering at all. Myles Garrett, man, request a trade, come to KC. Like, we will make you a Super Bowl champion. Just saying. Other than that, Lions has played like crap. I mean, Jared Goff had a very off game. He had 300 yards throwing, but he also had 2 interceptions. So, that wasn't the best. And that entire team just didn't really play its best, to be honest with you. And it's okay. Week 2, again, you know, it's rust off the edges. Jared Goff will be in great form. Now, 49ers and Vikings, something nobody thought would be ever seen in human existence. Minnesota with Sam Darnold beating the San Francisco 49ers. I don't even think, like, in any other universe would this happen. But I mean, Sam Darnold is a dog. I mean, 268 yards with 2 touchdowns, one of which was like a 97-yard pass to Justin Jefferson and an interception. Listen, the interception's going to happen. He's been a backup his entire career. It's going to take some time for him to actually make the right reads, but this shows that the dude is promising. I mean, he played on what? Jets. They sucked at the time. He couldn't really do anything at the Jets. Then he went to Carolina after that, and I mean, 2 words, Bryce Young. I mean, I feel bad for that dude. We'll be on that topic soon. And then he goes to San Francisco behind Purdy for a little while, and Kyle Shanahan, I guess, just made him a really good QB because the dude is balling out. I mean, the Vikings are in the top of the division right now. They are 2-0, number 1 in the NFC North, with the rest of them being 1-1. So, I mean, is this the franchise guy? I mean, do we take... I mean, if I was Minnesota and he plays like... I mean, J.J. McCarthy is out for the whole year. Obviously, right? J.J. McCarthy's gone for the whole year. And it doesn't really look like he's going to get any playing time because he's gone. So if Sam Darnold keeps playing like this and they get maybe 10 or 11 games under their belt where they win 10 or 11 games, I think we found ourselves a franchise QB. Because that team is still developing. That line is awesome. And that defense is still developing. Which is, I mean, it's mid right now, but I think it could be at a very high level very, very soon. And, I mean, this team is quite loaded with a lot of star talent. Which is perfect. Which is a perfect system to be in for a guy like Sam Darnold. So if he wins 11 or 12 games this year, maybe even 10, I wouldn't even take my shot at J.J. McCarthy. Because chances are, I really do not think if J.J. McCarthy was playing right now, the Vikings would be 2-0. I don't think it would be happening. I think they'd be 0-2. Especially against San Francisco. So, as for the 49ers, I mean, Jordan Mason is a dog. I mean, averaging 5 yards a carry, 20 attempts, 100 yards. And he's looking quite dynamic behind CMC. This he's good. He's good, man. And if he's open in any of your guys' fantasy leagues, I would highly recommend grabbing him. Those would be one of the a big waiver wire steal while Christian McCaffrey's gone. Like the Devon A-Chain of last year, or A-Chan. I don't remember how he pronounces his last name. But Devon A-Chan, A-Chan's thing last year where he popped off against Denver and then went crazy after Mostert got hurt. Then he came back and then they had them still as two, one utilized in the red zone, one just straight rushing. This year it looks like Devon A-Chan is getting a lot more carries now, which means Raheem Mostert's time might be coming to an end. And plus he's hurt right now too. So, but what a game. Packers-Colts, I don't think anybody saw this coming. 16-10, Anthony Richardson throws 204 yards, a touchdown, and 3 interceptions. He played like crap. 3 interceptions, are we serious? Jonathan Taylor had a good game, though. Any of you who sat Jonathan Taylor after his week 1, he didn't have the best game week 1. But any of you guys who sat Jonathan Taylor, I guess, paid for it because, I mean, he played good. 12 attempts for 103 yards. No touchdowns, unfortunately. And then Malik Willis throwing 12 for 14, 122 yards, and 1 touchdown. And then Josh Jacobs just hand the ball and he'll do it. Josh Jacobs had 32 attempts with 151 yards. Unfortunately, no touchdown. But, dude, wow, that's a lot to give to Josh Jacobs, especially considering last year he was kind of injured. So I really don't see the whole thought process behind that. Any of you have Jaden Reed? I would bench him until Jordan Love comes back. Because I really don't think he's going to get that many passes with Malik Willis, especially considering they're not going to really let him pass, as for, shown in this game. But good for the Packers. I mean, the Packers look good. Even with a backup QB, they're winning games. You know what I mean? So, once Jordan Love comes back, I'm assuming they're going to pick up right where they left off. And as for the Bills for Dolphins, I totally forgot about this. Tua got hurt. I don't, what is this, his 3rd or 4th concussion in the last 3 years? I mean, that's an alert is going through my brain right now. If I was not only Miami but Tua, because I mean y'all seen Antonio Brown. That dude is freaking like out of pocket as hell and just does stupid stuff, and is always in the midst of a controversy somehow, some way. He's got permanent brain damage, and chances are Tua might too. And at this point, it begs to question, if he takes one more hard hit towards his head, what's it gonna take for him to it being more severe than it has been? Because he's lucked out these last 3 times he's got a concussion. I feel like it's on the verge of something drastic if he gets one more. And to be honest, I'm not going to put my opinion on whether or not Tua should retire or should keep playing, because I feel like that's not an opinion for me to make. That's more of an opinion for the Miami Dolphins, Tua himself and his family, because I'm probably thinking that a lot of people are probably saying he should retire or he should do this, and people need to realize that it's not up to them, it's up to him. So all I'm gonna say is that concussion looked really bad, and his hands went up like the last time it happened. So hopefully everything comes back like good when it comes to the neurologist stuff. But in terms of his future, I mean, he's on IR, so he's got like a time to think about it. But in terms of his future, I think it might be in jeopardy personally. And when I saw the highlight, I kind of cringed myself in a way like that. I got scared because when he went down, when I saw him take that hit, I knew he wasn't going to get back up. And it wasn't because I doubt him, it's because I saw the way his head got hit. And he didn't. And that was a very unfortunate sight to see. Very, very unfortunate. But as for the rest of the Dolphins, Devon Achane had 22 attempts for 96 yards and 7 receptions for 69 yards and a touchdown. Looks like they're playing him at a CMC role now, where he can be a dual threat running back, where he's a wide receiver and a running back. And looks like he's doing pretty well. 7 targets, 7 receptions, 69 yards and a touchdown. Fantasy owners, start him every single game. I was dumb enough to bench him, thinking that since he was a game-time decision, he was going to have limited this, limited that. And then he got 29 points, and I lost my fantasy game by 14. So if I started him instead of Rachaad White, I would have won. And one person, special shout-out to Christian Kirk, drop him out of all of your rosters. I expected him after Calvin Ridley got signed by the Titans, that he was going to get a lot more receptions like he did his first season in Jacksonville. And he got me 0.9 points. 0.9. I didn't even have 1 point from him. I had him starting because A.J. Brown was out. I dropped him after that week. I dropped him immediately and picked up Jameson Williams, and Rashid Shaheed. Because no. Just no. You're not staying on my team after that terrible freaking game that you had. Especially since I was like, Christian Kirk is gonna be good, and I think he's gonna be good. Yeah, no, I've lost all faith in that. I hate to be kind of like a negative person, but no, not happening. As for Saints and Cowboys, I totally skipped over this game. Derek Carr looking like MVP. I mean, Alvin Kamara came to town, 115 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns rushing, and then he had 2 receptions for 65 yards and 1 touchdown. Overall, almost 50 points in fantasy football. That's crazy. And if Rashid Shaheed is in your waiver wire, highly recommend grabbing him. He's been on the ball. I mean, he's been number 1 in receiving when it comes to fantasy the last 2 weeks. And as it comes for the Dallas Cowgirls, what the hell? 293 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Dak is not him. I'm sorry. Well, here's the thing. Now it goes both ways. Not only Dak is a good quarterback, But I think the only person holding him back is Mike McCarthy. I really think that after this year, if they don't get past the divisional round, Mike McCarthy needs to go. Because he did the same stuff in Packers. They would have one of the top 3 seeds and then somehow lose to San Francisco. I really think that Mike McCarthy is the one thing that's holding this Cowboys team back. And I still have somewhat faith in Dak Prescott. And considering the amount of money they just paid CeeDee Lamb, and did they pay Dak Prescott yet? Did he get his payday? I don't know. Considering Dak Prescott, like, I think that's the one thing that's holding him back. So, I guess we'll see next season. If they don't make it past the divisional round, then I think he needs to go. Mike McCarthy needs to go. And speaking of all the other players that they have to sign, Micah Parsons, dude, he's going to want a lot of money. The Cowboys are going to be in for one predicament this year, man. All right, on to next week. Bears Colts. I have the Bears winning. I think I still have somewhat hope in that offensive line. Hopefully they don't allow 7 sacks. I got 24-16 Chicago because I think Caleb will get his first touchdown this week. I hope. I mean, the dude looks exciting. It's just he can't throw the ball because, like I said, he's being practically murdered. Next one, I have to grab my charger because my phone is dying. But, you guys can still hear me. Chiefs and Falcons. I got the Chiefs winning. No bias. Like, I'm not trying to be biased. I'm gonna be off the shot. But I'm not trying to be biased, but the Chiefs are just a better team. The Falcons aren't better than them. Yes, they have a promising defense, okay? They have a promising defense. Okay, dude, awesome. But it's the Kansas City Chiefs, back-to-back Super Bowl champions. Patrick the freaking Mahomes, Patrick Goat Mahomes, Patrick Magic Mahomes, freaking whatever you want to call him. He's him. Gatorade, sponsor me. I have a bad Gatorade addiction. If you can somehow sponsor me and get me my own GX bottle, holy crap. Anyways, not me just endorsing myself, well, commercializing myself, but, shit, what was I talking about? I forgot. Oh yeah, Chiefs and Falcons, yeah, no, that defense is going to be good, but I think the X factor is going to be Mahomes not making a dumbass decision, because, I mean, Mahomes threw 2 interceptions last week. Yeah, no. But, or was it 1? It was 1 or 2. It's just, yeah. I think it's going to be the Chiefs. I mean, it's an obvious... I mean, are the Atlanta Falcons really going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs? I don't think so. Especially considering Trent McDuffie is going to lock everything up when it comes to Drake London. Next one. Oh, yeah. Let's talk about Jets and Patriots real quick. We didn't cover that last week. I had the Jets winning. I mean, they already won, but, I mean, I had them winning anyways because it's the Patriots. Aaron Rodgers throws his first touchdown as a Jet to Allen Lazard. Good for him. I personally do not like Aaron Rodgers. I think he's a drama queen, and I think he's a locker room cancer. I just don't think he's... I mean, here's the thing. The Jets are in a new win-now situation. They needed a quarterback now. They got Aaron Rodgers. I mean, there wasn't really any other QB you could get for a win-now situation. Who were you going to get? Russell Wilson? Is he really going to win? Come on, dude. Broncos country, let's ride. What is it going to be now? Jets country, let's fly? Like, what? So, no. I think Aaron Rodgers was the best bet, but I just genuinely think he's a locker room cancer. Yes, will they get them to the playoffs? Hell yeah. Is it going to get them to the Super Bowl? No. There's too many good AFC teams for Aaron Rodgers to go through to win against. If he could not beat the San Francisco 49ers, the amount of times he had one of the first 2 seeds in the conference, if he couldn't do that within like his last 4 years in Green Bay, if he couldn't do that, then I genuinely highly doubt he can do that against Patrick Mahomes or Joe Burrow if he decides to get his stuff together, or Lamar Jackson and the Ravens if he decides to get their stuff together. You know what I mean? This is just not going to happen. Other than that, I mean, I feel like the Jets should have won by a bigger fashion, 24-3. I mean, at least that defense did good. Drake May ended up coming in the game because I think Jacoby Brissett had ended up getting hurt. 4 for 8, 22 yards, 2 sacks. The dude really wasn't in for that long, so I don't really have anything to say for that. Broncos Bucks. This is obvious. Come on, dude. Bucks. Like, come on. It's gonna be the Bucks. Against the Broncos, and they have Bo Nix. Now, as much as I believe in Bo Nix after the amount of 7 interceptions that or however many interceptions he's thrown the last 2 games, I still believe in Bo Nix. I still think he's a great QB. He was great in college. I just don't think he's got the necessary firepower to make an impact on this Broncos team. And I think the fact of the matter is that, like, if he doesn't really have much weapons, then what's really gonna happen? And not, don't get me wrong, it's not only the team that sucks, it's him. He sucks too right now. Because of the fact that he's not making the right decisions. So yeah, I mean, we'll see, right? It's gonna take time for these QBs to develop. So Buccaneers, I have them winning like 30-14. Chargers, Steelers, I think the Justin Fields hype train keeps on going, dude. I'm not on the bandwagon, but Justin Fields is that guy right now. He's doing quite well. The offense, I mean, he still looks kind of robotic, but it's getting them wins. They're 2-0 with Justin Fields, okay? Which is like the best 2-game stretch he's ever had. And he's playing the Chargers. That should be self-explanatory. Saints, Eagles, up next. This is hard. Saints. I'm sorry, they've scored 40 points the last 2 weeks. 40 points on Dallas Cowgirls. Okay, it's the Cowgirls, but still, they still look like a really good team coming into this season. I have them winning. I mean, Derek Carr is playing at an MVP level. That team is clicking. That defense is clicking. Everything is going well for this team, and I don't think they're going to stop. I think they have a genuine chance to make a dominant run in the NFC. Giants and Browns, the clash of the two terrible freaking teams. It's obviously the Browns. I mean, Giants, are we serious? Daniel Jones is going to do something? Come on now. Daniel Jones, you're going to look me in my eyes and tell me Daniel Jones is going to beat the Browns? If he can't beat a rookie QB in Jaden Daniels, even after he threw no touchdowns, I'm pretty sure they scored all their points off field goals. How are you going to beat the Browns? Packers, Titans. I don't even know. I'm not gonna lie. Will Levis has played like straight dog crap. Freaking got the freaking coach tweaking, saying, "What the hell are you doing?" I mean, and the dude gets on his knees after he throws a pick six in the first week. No diddy. I don't know. I don't know, man. I think this game could go either way. I think this is going to be within a field goal, but I think the Packers are going to win 21-18. No, 2017, sorry. I don't know, dude. I mean, it could go really both ways, but I think it's going to be the Packers that pull it out. Texans, Vikings. Okay, I'm sorry. Sam Darnold looks like a great player. Great player. I've already addressed that, but he's not. I'm sorry, that Vikings team, even with Sam Darnold, is not better than the Texans. This Texans team is looking good. I mean, the best since they've looked in a while, and they weren't even this good with Deshaun Watson. This team is could be a dynasty in the making. I got Texans winning by a big matchup, actually, 28-17. Dolphins, Seahawks. Dolphins. I'm sorry, it's not much of a debate. Dolphins. I mean, yes, they don't. I take that back. It's going to be the Dolphins who's going to win in 3. I forgot Tua's out. They're going to win by like 3 points. It's going to be like 24-21 or something. Both mediocre teams. Seahawks have a QB. It's also mediocre. But Dolphins don't. I don't really know who their QB is. Skylar Thompson, I think. I would expect Devon Achane getting a lot of carries. But I don't know. It could go either way, but I think I got the Dolphins pulling it out 24-21. Panthers, Raiders. Panthers or Raiders, it's going to be the Raiders. And they're going to win in dominant fashion, 28-0. I really don't see the Panthers scoring. And if they do, it's going to be 3 points. 49ers, Rams. 49ers are going to come out on top. Yes, they lost, and so did the Rams, but the Rams lost to the Cardinals. And the 49ers lost to a good playing Vikings team. 49ers are going to win, and it's going to be by 10 points. 24-14. That's what I got. Oh, shoot. Okay. Now, this game could also go both ways. Lions, Cardinals. This game could also go both ways. This game could go in the way where Kyler Murray comes out and shows out and beats the Lions. Or Jared Goff could get his game back and get his stuff back together and the Lions win. But off the game that I watched last week, I got the Cardinals winning. And I got the Cardinals winning in a closer matchup, though. 26-20. I think the Cardinals are going to somehow pull this out. I mean, nobody had them winning except Kinslow. Winning against the Rams, and they did that. And I think they'll do it against the Lions, too. Yeah, barring the Lions are a better team. I don't know, man. This Cardinals team is looking good. Dallas Cowgirls versus the Baltimore Ravens. This game could also go both ways. I really don't know. Either Dak could have the greatest game of his career, or like greatest game of the season, or the Ravens get their stuff back together and Lamar goes freaking ballistic. I'm going to take that route. Lamar goes freaking ballistic. They're going to win 28-10. I think Lamar is in for a big game. Considering how terrible that freaking defense has been, that Cowboys defense has been, I really think Lamar is going to run right through that defense. So, speaking of, I might want to drop the freaking Cowboys defense, because I picked them up in my draft thinking they were going to be good, and they suck. Like, they suck. So, Jaguars, Bills. Jaguars, mediocre team. As much as I love Trevor Lawrence, well, not really, but as much as I like Trevor Lawrence, I really don't think they're going to beat the Bills. And Josh Allen is going to keep going crazy. Now, going into this year, I really thought that Josh Allen was going to be a washed QB because of the fact that, he lost his lead receiver, but he's been playing really well. And considering he got the league's most voted overrated player in the league, I think he's got a chip on his shoulder. And as much as I don't like Josh Allen because I think he's a crybaby and causes too much stuff, and plus him and the Chiefs have a big rivalry, and I'm kind of supposed to hate on them, Josh Allen is going to come out firing on all cylinders. And I think this year he's going to show the league how underrated of a player he is. Because going into this year, I thought he was going to be like every other QB. Kind of. Like, you lose your star receiver, and then you do terrible. Like Aaron Rodgers did once Devontae Adams left. And I don't think that's going to be the case here with Buffalo. Now, do I think they'll get far in the playoffs because of a lack of a wide receiver? Yes. I do think that's going to happen. But they got something good going here. They're just one good wide receiver away for Josh Allen, and that's not a locker room cancer, from them actually making a good run towards that Super Bowl. Now, at the same time, how long is that going to take? You also have to take into consideration they've had a Super Bowl caliber team the last 4 or 5 years with Stephon Diggs in town, but you gotta realize that at the end of the day, that team is getting old. That team is going to wear out pretty soon. And considering how injured they were getting last year shows how much wear and tear they're really getting in Buffalo. Which means I think they only have 1 to 2 years left in the tank until they have to start a full rebuild again. And do I think Sean McDermott is the guy for them to coach to get them to that Super Bowl? No, I don't. Because he hasn't done it the last few years. He's had a great team. Don't get me wrong. He's had a great team. But he hasn't been able to get them there. He hasn't been able to get them past the Chiefs or the Bengals, for that matter. Commanders, Bengals. Commanders have a rookie QB, which I love Jaden Daniels. I love Jaden Daniels. That dude is a dog. But the Bengals are too good of a team for them for them to beat. Even though they're 0-2, I really think that the Bengals will come out on top. 24-17. And my last scoring prediction was going to be 27-14 for the Bills. Now, the last topic we're going to talk about tonight is Bryce Young's situation. Now, as we all probably know, he got benched this week after he hasn't really had a good career, has he, man? Like, I feel so bad for him that, like, I feel like no human being should go through the hell of being the Carolina Panthers quarterback. Like, what did the dude do in his, like, lifetime to get put in such a hellish position? I mean, as a QB, like, I'm scared for my life. Like, if I was a QB with him, I would be scared. If I was in his shoes, I would be scared. Because not only does that offensive line just let people come in, they just can't get anything done. Okay? It's not his fault. Okay? Considering they made the worst trade that they could possibly create, trading Brian Burns and their last year #1 overall pick and DJ Moore to the Chicago Bears, like, whoever the general manager is of that team should have been fired right after the draft last season. He should have been. He should have been gone right after the draft. Because I'm not going to lie to you, that dude is, whoever that GM is, let's look him up. This is you can call it whatever. This is considered a direct shot to the GM. Who is the Carolina Panthers GM? Dan Morgan. Dan Morgan is the current general manager and president. Fire him. He's gone. Fired. If I am the Carolina Panthers right now, I would have had him fired the day after the draft, after the first round. I would have him fired right there on the spot. Because that guy is... I can't believe this. I mean, who else do you have on that team now? Derek Brown, who's out for so long now with an injury? He has created a hell of a situation. Now, not a hell in the good way, I mean in the bad way, like the satanic way. That Carolina, that locker room is hell. I feel so bad, and I am praying for Bryce Young that he finds himself in a new position where he can be in a good position, where he can actually play to his true potential, where he can actually develop as a good QB. Man, Bryce Young, bro, I am by your side. I don't even know if you're going to watch this, but man, I am by your side. Keep your head up. I saw that video of you signing that dude's ball, and you looked depressed as hell. Like, you looked so sad, and I felt so bad for him. Like, just being put in that situation should be considered a federal crime. I mean, he's got, okay, fine, Adam Thielen, but how old is that dude? And is he going to put up 1,000 yards every year? And how is he going to get the ball if Bryce Young is near dead by the time he ends up getting the ball out? Like, I hate the fact that he's putting all the blame. He took accountability for being benched. Now, not only does that show nice leadership, he was trying his hardest not to throw shade at the Panthers. If I was him, I would have just said, this team sucks, I want out. Dead serious. Because, let's talk about it. Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield both went through that system, did absolutely dog crap, and now Sam Darnold is thriving on the Minnesota Vikings, and Baker Mayfield is having the time of his life in Tampa Bay, Florida. Like, this should show you that how crappy, how terrible the Carolina Panthers franchise really is. And I'm sorry if some of you Panthers fans take offense to this, but Bryce Young needs to go. And when he said he was open for a trade, he should have demanded it. Because this guy's career is on the line. Okay? I mean, if I was him, I would be at such a dark place right now. It's not even funny. Like, I would be at such a dark place if I was Bryce Young right now. With that being said, Bryce Young, dude, keep your head up. I really can't say much else. You've just been you've just been in a very, 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 very unfortunate situation. Very unfortunate situation. And I don't think he's a terrible QB. I don't think he's a bad quarterback. I firmly believe in bad teams make bad quarterbacks. And the Carolina Panthers have made a terrible QB. Now, that's not me saying Bryce Young is a bad quarterback. They've just made him play bad because they don't have anything to help him with. And if you don't have any help, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You know what I mean? Like, just, yeah. I really don't have much else to say. I still believe in Bryce Young. I still believe he has the potential to be one of a kind in the league. He showed it in college. Yeah, to Alabama, greatest team in the country, but he has the potential. Okay, everybody says he's undersized, that he's going to be an off-brand dollar store version of Kyler Murray, but I don't think he will be. I think he still has a chance. I still believe in Bryce Young, and I think if he gets put in a new situation where he's surrounded with the right support system, right offensive line, for that matter, freaking italicized, underlined, bold, okay, in freaking 48 big font, okay, he needs to be in a good situation where he can be protected, he can throw the ball to somebody, in an overall good coaching situation. Now, Dave Canales, like, he got hired by Carolina because he was the OC for Tampa Bay, and they did really good with Baker Mayfield. But I don't even think Dave Canales can save this team. Just because of the tools that he's been left. It's like he's trying to fix up a lost cause car that was thrown into the junkyard. That's rusted up and dented and nothing works. It's like him trying to fix that. You could barely the odds of you fixing a team like that, like a car like that, is 1 in a million. And for a chance for him to fix fix this Panthers team with Dan Morgan at GM, no, it's just not happening. And Dave Canales, I'm not gonna lie to you, you shouldn't have taken that pit. You should not have taken that job. Now, at least if you get fired, they'll still have hell of a lot of money to owe you, like they do Matt Rule. But in Nebraska with Dylan Raiola, Patrick Mahomes the third or the fourth. Just all I know is a Patrick Mahomes cosplayer. He's making his money in Nebraska and getting the money out of your pockets, Carolina. But other than that, Dave Canales, man, good luck. That's all I gotta say. Good luck. And to Bryce Young, get out. You should have just said, no, you shouldn't have just said, I'm open to a trade. You should have just said, I want out. I don't want to stay on this crappy team. Because I'm throwing my career away. I'm making barely any money. I'm on a rookie contract, okay? And it feels like he's already been playing in the league for 5 years. That dude is being severely underpaid, considering he's playing on a terrible, god-awful Carolina Panthers team. Just god-awful Carolina Panthers team. Now, with all that being said, Week 3's tomorrow. I wish all of you a happy Week 3. I hope you guys win your fantasy games. And also, I'm going to try a new bit on the podcast. I want you to DM me. My DMs are open. You can DM me on my personal account or my Final Seconds podcast account. DM me your takes, because I want to see what you community people have to say about the biggest controversies in the sports world currently. And I think it'd be a lot of fun to get your guys' takes on there, to get my opinions out there, and, to give you my thought process on your takes. So, if you guys have any to suggest, I will definitely pick some out. I will definitely put them on the podcast. And if you just want to talk about sports or something, man, hit me up. I love doing that. So, on to the next episode, hopefully next week, or Well, I don't know next week because we have a busy weekend. We have homecoming next weekend, so we might not have time. But keep a lookout on the Instagrams. Might have some posts up there. But other than that, I'll see y'all on the next. Well, wait, no, not yet. Well, actually, yeah. I'll see you guys. I guess it's the final seconds pod, and it's the final seconds of the podcast. So, I'll see you guys on the next podcast.